Hello. Just kind of want to talk about the snare solos that you have to pick. So, you already have the melodic solo. You have to have at least one melodic solo, meaning keyboards. And then you need a snare solo or a rhythmic solo. Preferably snare, it's just quick and easy. We know what snare sounds like, and all of you have a practice pad. Now, if you wanted to try a solo on like the bass drum or on the djembe, then that would be kind of weird. I would prefer that you not, because it's difficult to find music for those specifically, or like the cajon. Anyway, try to stick to snare for now. I want to talk about what to look for when you're searching for a solo. Now, we got a couple of resources with choosing a solo. We've got resource number one, the Wessel's book, Fresh Approach to Snare Drum. Now, in this book, you can't just play anything. What you need to look for is something that says the word etude, Etude. Like, this is etude number one. Now, you could play etude number one, or you could play rudimental etude number two, or rhythmic etude at the top of the graduation test, or etude number three on page 17. Probably not etude in 8 time or coordination etude. They're generally pretty easy, especially for you, Bauer. All of this stuff, these are all etudes right here. So you could choose these. Kessler, Bauer, it might be a little easy unless you did the rudimental etude. Let's see, what else is there? There's rudimental etude number 4, lesson 6. The rudimental etudes themselves are more interesting. Number 5 in lesson 7. Number 6 in lesson 8. Or if you want to do a duet, you could do the round for 2 players. And there's a lot of stuff in here. A 2-drum etude. Now this is where in lesson 9 there's a 2-drum etude. Now you would need a high drum and a low drum, a high tom and a low tom. It's basically the 2 drums, the other drums on the drum set. You could do that. And then there's rudimental etude number 7. In lesson 10, rudimental etude number 8, graduation test 2, rhythmic etude, rudimental etude number 9, and 2-drum etude. Lesson 11, rudimental etude number 10. I mean, there's like a bunch of stuff in these. This book is just covered in etudes. But if you have been in percussion already for a year, at least with me, you cannot do the first 2 etudes. You have to pick something after that, preferably a rudimental etude versus a coordination etude or a rhythmic one. The other options we've got is I have the Peters book. Now, there's not like a ton of stuff in the Peters book that are like specifically etudes. They're mostly exercises, but they work on their own as well by themselves. For example, this short roll study right here on this side. Like if you did the whole page, I would count that as an etude. Sorry, I made this video specifically for Kessler and Bauer, but I guess I'm going to use this video when I talk about this with 6th period. So for the rest of you in 6th period, I would be Bronson, Bridger, Logan, Tannen, Yuri, Andrew, and Sully. Flam patterns, basic study, like these study number 35, and then you just play this thing. Anything that we can find in this book. Now, this book, I have my own, and if you wanted to look through it, you're just going to have to come and ask me about it. But you need to pick an etude somewhere. Study number 55 or study 56. It's got a lot of rolls and flams and stuff going on in here. But yeah, so there's that. Snare drum etudes, Peters or the Wessels, and then you have the option of just going online and searching a thing up. You could just be like, I want to learn how to play the drum set part to a song that you really like. Now, I'm totally cool with that happening. The only thing that I request when you find or look for music online is that you have like actual music to show me, because I need to know if you're playing it right or wrong. So make sure that there's music, it's written out in some way, and that at the end of it there is a what's the word? A double bar. Make sure that whatever you find online, there's a double bar, so that you know that you have the whole tune. So whatever you find online works. Also, I want to mention about online stuff. I was totally in my head just now, and I was just thinking about how I needed to mention it. And now I can't remember what it was that I was going to mention. Yeah. Oh, yes. But if you cannot find the tune, the drum set part, or a rhythmic accompaniment to whatever popular song that you really want to play, you're just going to have to transcribe it. Meaning, this is like AP percussion, just like a lot of thinking. What I mean by transcribing is you listen to the tune, and then you hear the drum set part, and then what you do is you figure out how to play it, or the snare drum part, or the bass drum part, or whatever. You figure out how to play it along with the recording of the tune that you know. So, for example, I know Bridger and Yuri are planning on doing Viva La Vida, I think, or something like that. You would listen to the recording, and then you would figure out some sort of beat or a specific thing that goes along with it. You learn how to play it, and then you have to write it out in music. And that is something that I have to teach you to do, to transcribe. But basically, what you do is you play it, and then you find the time signature. You find, are you in 4 time, or are you in 2? Are you in 3, or are you in 6 time? The top number, and then trying to decide what you want the bottom number to be, whether all of the notes that you're playing are generally fast, so you want a higher number, or if they're slow, then you want a lower number, like a 6-4 or 6-8 time. It's up to you, really. And then you just learn to write it out in music. Now, if you do end up transcribing something out on staff paper, I can provide some staff paper for you. I would also, if you do the transcribing, I mean, at this point, you obviously already know how to play it. And I don't want to say that I would judge you less harshly or something, but your performance credit for the end of the quarter, it would take into account the fact that you learned it orally and then you wrote it down visually. So it's even possible that I might not require that you perform it for me. We'll see. But yeah, it's a lot of work. So option A, Wessel's Etudes. Option B, Peter's book. Option C, find something online. Make sure that it has a double bar at the end. Or option D, learn it by ear and then write it out. We can have, if you really want to write it out, I need you to let me know so that I can plan some time in class, or I could create some videos, or I could live stream, or I can video conference or something to work with you on how to transcribe. Because a lot of this quarter is going to be very much me working individually with people in whatever they need help with, instead of like big old group things. Now, I do want to do a Christmas performance, and I will be choosing some tunes. So if you have any idea of any tunes that you really want to play for Christmas, then just let me know. Yeah, okay. I think that's all I really wanted to say about that. Yeah, pick a solo. Let me know if you want to check out the Wessels, if you want to check out the Snare. Now, when I say pick something, I mean, I don't necessarily mean that once you pick it, you've dedicated your life to it and that's what you're going to be doing. No, you can pick it and then practice it and then decide, I'd rather not do this. But that just means that you have now less time to practice something new. So take into consideration how much time you're willing to put into it. I'm always willing to make copies of music for you to try and to start working on it and see if it's something that you feel like you can do. If you feel like it's not something you can accomplish, then that's fine. Come back and pick something else and see if you can do that in time. Yeah. Okay.